topic focuses on the stages of moral reasoning or development by Lawrence Kohlberg. Before anything else, let us give a brief overview of who Lawrence Kohlberg is and why did he postulate his theory about moral developments and its 6 stages. Lawrence Kohlberg was born on October 25, 1927 and died on January 19, 1987. He was an American psychologist, best known for his theory of stages of moral development. He served as a professor in the psychology department at the University of Chicago and at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. The theory of moral development was a component of Lawrence Kohlberg's most important writings. The writings of Jean Piaget served as an inspiration for the creation of this theory due to the fact that this is related to cognitive development.
Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development. Level 1, Pre-conventional morality. Pre-conventional morality is the earliest period of moral development and lasts until around the age of 9. At the pre-conventional level, children don't have a personal code of morality. Instead, children's decisions are primarily shaped by the expectations and standards of adults and the consequences of breaking the rules. There are 2 stages with this level. Stage 1, obedience and punishment. The earliest stage of moral development. Obedience and punishment are especially common in young children, but adults are also capable of expressing this type of reasoning. In this stage, if an action leads to punishment, he or she must have done something bad, and if it leads to a reward, the child has done something good. To avoid punishment, the child defers to powerful people, usually to their mother or father. According to Kohlberg, people at this stage see rules as fixed and absolute. Obeying the rules is important because it is a way to avoid punishment. Just like, for example, your mother told you to wash the dishes after eating. So, to avoid punishment, you obeyed your mother's command. And another example, it would be bad for me to take my sister's toy because she might cry and I will be punished by my mother. Stage 2, Naive hedonistic and instrumental orientation. At this stage, children account for individual points of view and judge actions based on how they serve individual needs. In the Heinz dilemma, children argued that the best course of action was the choice that best served Heinz's needs. Reciprocity and sharing is possible at this point in moral development, but only if it serves one's own interests and this reciprocity is manipulative and self-serving. It's a kind of bartering or exchange principle. We treat with fairness those who do the same with us or to those who can help us. Just like, for example, I'll lend you my toy car if I can borrow your PSP. Or, I'll study tonight only if you'll let me watch my favorite movie first. Behavior is determined again by consequences. The individual focuses on receiving rewards or satisfying personal needs.
In Kohlberg's Stage 3 theory of moral development, it is about good boy morality. In this stage of moral development is focused on living up to social expectations and roles. At this stage of moral reasoning, the individual acts in order to fulfill specified social roles, such as the desire to be a good girl or a good boy. There is an emphasis on conformity being nice, and consideration of how choices influence relationships with others. For example, a student stays after school to clean all the chalkboards for the teacher. So it is an example of the child's good behavior. Another example is a 5th grade teacher asks her student to please help me clean up the mess from our science experiments so we can all get to recess on time. In Stage 4, in Kohlberg's theory of moral development, it talks about authority and morality that maintain the social order. In this stage is focus on ensuring that social order is maintained. At this stage of moral development, people begin to consider society as a whole when making judgments. The focus is on maintaining law and order by following the rules, doing one's duty, and respecting authority. At this stage of moral reasoning, the individual acts in order to maintain the social order. So in this stage, it is focused on authority and morality, and it is clearly stated that we all have rules to follow. For example, in your community, there's a rule that you must respect every individual in your community so that there will be no chaos. Another example, there is a rule that in driving any vehicle, you must have a driver's license, and we must follow that rule so that it allows emergency officials to identify you if you are involved in an accident.
Stage 5. Morality of contract, individual rights, and democratically accepted law. People now have a flexibility of moral beliefs. They lacked in earlier stages. Morality is based on an agreement among individuals to conform appear necessary to maintain the social order and the rights of others. However, because this is social contract, it can be modified when people within a society rationally discuss alternatives that might be more advantageous to more members of the society. In stage 5, it explained that they do what is right because of a sense of obligation to laws that are agreed upon within society. For example, the father steals a big amount of money to pay the hospital bills of her daughter. So the cops will arrest him and put him in jail. This is an example of an obligation to laws because the cops is obliged to arrest the man because we have the rules in our society to obey the law as well as the cops. Another example of this is the one who works in court. Stage 6. Morality of individual principles and conscience. People conform both to social standards and to internalized ideals. Their intent is to avoid the self-condemnation rather than criticism by others. People base their decision on abstract principles involving justice, compassion, and equality. This is a morality based on respect for others. People who have attained this level of development will have highly individualistic moral beliefs that may at times conflict with rules accepted by the majority of a society. According to Kohlberg, among the nonviolent activist students who demonstrated in the mid to late 1960s against the Vietnam War, more had attained the post-conventional level of morality than had non-activist students. In stage 6, it explained that our action is controlled by internalized ideas that exert a pressure to act accordingly and result self-condemnation and guilt. For example, a young girl may respond to being bullied by a peer by blaming herself. Because if we bully someone, the result of that is we can feel the sense of guilt, and also judgment will happen. Another example of this is a judgmental people who will judge you right away even they don't know your story of life.
The main reason why he studied moral developments is to discover how moral reasoning changed as people grew older. It is crucial to comprehend Kohlberg's theory of moral formation because it can assist parents in guiding their kids as they form moral principles. Because it is possible to grow with incorrect opinions because many times people don't care to inform you what is right or bad, moral growth aids in the improvement of your beliefs. Many kids don't receive the right moral and ethical education, which causes them to go in the wrong route. We, therefore, hope that everyone who hears and watches this video learns something valuable and useful at the end. Thank you for watching.